West Best Media, the AES Documentary Series, Chapter 1 of 3. What is the AES really building? History doesn't always hide the truth. Sometimes it's hidden in plain sight. For the most of 2 years, the world had watched Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. We have watched the attack, the military operations, the sanctions, the political tensions, day after day. Those became the headlines. But what if those headlines caused us to miss the biggest story of all? Because while the world was focusing on today's battle, 3 countries quietly made one decision that could shape their future for decades. They didn't simply strengthen military alliance. They created a confederation. Think about that for a moment. Why would 3 countries still fighting for their security choose to build a confederation? That question stopped us in our tracks, because confederations aren't created for today's crisis. They are created with tomorrow in mind. So we start following the evidence, and what we discover changes the way we looked at the entire alliance of the Sahel states. This investigation isn't about predicting the future. It isn't about politics. It's about connecting the dots. Not to tell you what to think, but to tell you, let's decide for yourself. So, what is the alliance of the Sahel states really building? The first clue: most people knew the alliance as a military alliance. But a confederation is something very different. Military alliances agree to defend one another. A confederation begins creating shared institutions while each country remains independent sovereign states. That immediately raises an important question. If the AES intend to remain only a military alliance, why would they become a confederation? Countries don't make decisions like that by accident. They make them because they are thinking beyond today's challenge. As we continue to investigate, we found other clues. The AES Development Bank. Banks don't fight wars. They finance road, energy, industries, agriculture, and businesses on long-term development. Then we found another clue. The AES Passport. Military alliances don't normally create common travel documents. Then another. They remove roaming charges between Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. At first, that may not sound like a major decision, but it is communication benefits for businesses and families, students and government, trade, not just soldiers. Then another clue. The Confederation is moving towards a common institution, including joint parliament. Now stop for a moment. One decision might be coincident. 2 decisions might still be unrelated. But when every major decision begins pointing to the same direction, you stop. You have to stop and ask a different question. What picture do these pieces create when they are put together. You step back and look at the bigger picture. Let's step back now for a moment. Together, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger represent nearly 80 million people across almost 2.8 million square kilometers. This isn't a small alliance. It is one of Africa's largest emerging regional bloc. And when a region of this size begin creating political, financial, and economic and institutional structure, it deserves attention. Not because we already know where their journey is ending, but because the direction matters. The evidence suggests these decisions are about more than responding to today's security challenges. They suggest long-term thinking. How far that thinking goes, we still don't know. The deeper we investigate, the more we realize this story is much bigger than we first imagined. Some of the most important questions still lay ahead. And we'll continue following those questions in the next chapter of this investigation. But before we do, there's one more question we couldn't ignore. Perhaps the biggest question of all is this. If Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger are among the poorest countries in the region, how can they afford to defend their nation, build institutions, invest in infrastructure, and plan for the future, all at the same time? That question isn't answered in this chapter, because every answer uncovered another question. And one questions appear again and again and again. Why does so much of this story seems to lead back to Mali? Is it geography? Is it history? Is it resources? Is it leadership? Or something even bigger? That's exactly where our investigation continues. Today we answer one question. The evidence suggested the alliance of the Sahel state is building institution that goes beyond traditional military alliance. But we haven't uncovered far more questions than answers. How will this project be financed? Can it continue while facing persistent security threats? How far will this integration goes? Will more countries eventually join? And why does every road seems to lead back to Mali? Those are the questions we'll investigate next. If you enjoy this investigation, I'd love to hear from you and hear your thoughts. What do you think the AES is really building? Leave your answer in the comments. This one is the beginning. Thank you for watching the AES Documentary Series. This is Investigation, Chapter 1, and I'll see you in Chapter 2.